We usually talk about music that we love. Today we're going to talk about music that is hated by the masses, that we think is unjustly hated. Tim, kick us off. Tell us a band or an artist that gets a lot of hate that they don't deserve.
I'm going to start things out with an easy hitter, and that is Coldplay. I feel like in recent years, they've been getting so much hate that just isn't justified at all. I think people forget who Coldplay are and who they started out as. And whilst they may have moved away vastly from their original sound, I think you can't take away the credit that they deserve from their first initial albums that really put them on the map. I think they're a phenomenal band. Chris Martin is one of the best vocalists perhaps in the world, and I think a lot of people forget who they are and just how good they are.
I think recent Coldplay hate is justified. Their last album absolutely stank. I agree. Overall, I think maybe they get a little bit more than they deserve because the first couple of albums and the impact that they had was so good. But I don't know, whenever I listen to anything recent from Coldplay, it feels so uninspired and boring. And I appreciate that he's writing songs about what he loves, what he's been through, his life, emotions, etc. And some of them aren't particularly badly written. It just is so far-fetched from where they were originally. That's fine. Bands change over time. But what they've changed into is not something that I'm down with. And I can completely see why, if you're hearing that on the radio, hearing that come on Spotify playlists, etc. all the time, you would start to hate them. Because unless it's their older stuff, you don't want to listen to it.
I think the only issue is that they're considered a safe and kind of background music-y band where people say, yeah, I'd have them on, but I would never listen to them directly. And in tandem with that, they then go, oh, they can't be that good because I don't like listening to them. But some of the melodies that they have, even in their most recent album, there's some tracks on there where you think, you know what, this is actually phenomenal songwriting. There is some great work going on there. There's so many layers in the tracks. There's a lot going on. A lot of the songs on the new album are flops. I will accept that. But I do think that people overhate them purely based on the shift in sound. I don't think a shift in sound should mean that you have to hate on a band. I think you can still be like, you know what, they moved away from their old roots. I still think they're quite good. For example, Blink-182, they moved away from their old roots. People went, oh, these are terrible, but we enjoyed it. We liked that.
Well, no, that's exactly what I was just saying. I understand bands change, but I think that their new sound is just not good, like objectively. Whether it be in the new sound or not, I would say that it's not a good album. I don't like the sound. And I think the way that they're pushed commercially and by the radio and stuff definitely doesn't help them because it's still played way more than it should be.
I think they are undoubtable anthem crafters is what I want to class them as.
Undoubtable anthem crafters.
Definitely. But let's move off Coldplay. What would you say is an overhated band?
Well, it's not a band. It's an individual artist, and it's one that was the most hated whilst I was growing up, and it's Justin Bieber.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be MGK.
No. So Justin Bieber, growing up, was the cool person to hate. Everyone had something negative to say about him. And I will admit, Baby was quite annoying.
Oh,
and
I loved Baby.
It was overplayed, and it was the most disliked video on YouTube for a long, long time, and it kind of got stuck in everyone's heads. I appreciate why people started to take aim at Bieber because of that song, but it's not his fault in a strange way that radio and the music world picked up on that track and blew it up to the level that it was. But he actually had some pretty decent tracks around that time as well that weren't as commercially successful, even though they were still doing massive numbers. I always just look back at it and think he was a young teenage boy with the entire world hating on him for just making music that he loved to make.
It was the most insane timeline ever because people would literally hate death threats even to Justin Bieber, who is
lost his shit.
He is a literal child. I just didn't want to say anything that would get us demonetized. He was a literal child. Like, people were saying such horrible things about him. Fully grown men throwing hate at this 14-year-old boy, and you think, what the hell's wrong with you? But at the time, it was the cool thing to do, and I feel like when you get swept up in that world, you start to forget that that's a human being on the receiving end of all this hate. And the music that he put out was phenomenal. Like, when you go back and listen to it, there was some great work in there. And for example, later on in his career, when he released Beauty and the Beat and Boyfriend and all those massive tracks, he's always been a phenomenal musician. He's got a phenomenal voice. He's gone a bit crazy in recent years, but what child star doesn't go crazy?
That's kind of my point. I actually think in more recent years, the hate for Bieber has died down massively and people have started to respect his talent and respect what he does a lot more. I do think there's still a big section of, especially music fans, but just general, like especially in England, like lads. If you mention Justin Bieber, they'll go, nah, I'm not listening to that. I'm going to turn that off right now. Whereas they actually probably know the lyrics to a lot of his songs. The sister listened to it. The cousin listened to it. Loads of people loved it. But that initial run of hate that happened to Justin when he first started out, I think is the direct cause of why he has ended up going through so much. Had a lot of troubles. We saw it publicly. There was, I can't remember, did he once like hold a kid off? He did summit, like that was Michael Jackson, wasn't it, that held a kid off a balcony? Justin Bieber, did he spit off a balcony once at someone?
No, that was fake news. That was all fake news. Yeah, no, but they made it look like he was spit. So he spit off a balcony, but there was no fans beneath. But all of the media outlets then used a picture of like these people going like that, but they were actually just screaming, crying fans after seeing him. Those two pictures, but that's exactly the misinformation that was going around about Justin Bieber. People were just saying shit, and people were believing it because everybody was hating on him. It's such a surreal timeline when you think about it. Again, literal child, and people are bullying him. And then not even that, when in the recent years when it's been like shown how much he was like kind of sexually manipulated as well, and like in award shows he's have these fully grown women groping him and saying,
Ellen kissing him, and
Katy Perry saying she wants to grab his ass and all this stuff. And it was like, why did nobody do anything? Why was everybody just fucking content with shitting on this fucking like 14, 15-year-old guy? It's unfair, man.
Well, away from Bieber, Timothy, who's next for you?
Should we do the easy hitter, the elephant in the room, Nickelback? I think Nickelback are so overhated for no real reason. I've never been able to pinpoint the reason as to why Nickelback is as hated as they are, because their music is really fucking good. Chad's voice is amazing. I've seen them live recently. It was a phenomenal performance. They even address all of the memes with the photograph and look at this graph, and they're so self-aware at the same time. And their most recent album, I quite liked it. There's a lot of music in their discography that's great. They were WWE theme tune for Randy Orton. Was it Randy Orton?
No, I think they were Raw, like the actual show.
Raw. Yeah. They had Burn It Down though.
Yeah, that was Raw.
Was that Raw? Right. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, so all of this stuff, and I think they were just a phenomenal band. They still are a phenomenal band. I'd never understood the hate.
See, I completely agree. Nickelback are massively overhated. I wouldn't say that they're a phenomenal band, though.
Oh, they are. They really are.
They put on a good live show. They've dived into the hatred and the memes and stuff very well. They have some really good, really catchy tracks, but they're definitely, like, you are overhyping them here. They're not really, really good and a phenomenal band.
They are really, really good. If you go back and listen to their albums, they're fantastic.
I agree. I've got them on my list. I like some of the big tracks. I like some of the singles. They remind me of childhood.
Do you know what I think? Do you know what I think it was? I think it was Rockstar. I think that was the start of the end for them. After we're standing in line with clubs and never getting. That was just everywhere and too much. And a lot of people started saying this is really formulaic. These are really entry level lyrics. But they're also a band that makes radio hits. So whilst they are making these really cool introspective tracks that are deeper on their albums, they are still a band that makes radio hits, which in turn then means that people go, oh, this is such a shallow band. They don't actually care about music.
No, I agree with that as well. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying you massively overhyped them. Like, I love How You Remind Me is one of my favourite tracks. I think that it's really good, really fun track to listen to. And actually, you say this a lot in previous episodes where you're like, it's fun music and people need to like fun music a bit more. That's kind of the category I put Nickelback in, but I don't think that they're like a seriously good band.
They fucking are, though. Not, see, you're part of the haters. You're part of the problem.
No, I don't hate them. I like them. I just think that they're not like amazing.
Do you know the thing is that they were a huge commercial success, and as soon as anybody becomes a huge commercial success, they are then banded with hate. And there was something, it was like a radio station or something that started the Nickelback kind of hate train and started to make a joke out of Nickelback. I can't remember what the actual origins were. I just remember there's a radio station that either played a song a lot or every time a song finished said, thank God that wasn't Nickelback. And it just kind of stuck. And in the same way with Justin Bieber, once you get to a certain point, everybody just starts hating on you for the commercial success that you've got. And it's not your fault that you're making music that resonates with a lot of people. So you can say the music's shallow, you can say the music's this, that, and the other, but if you're as commercially successful as they are...
No, I don't like that point though. I think that
I don't like that.
you're glazing to a crazy level here, bro. I'm sorry, but you are. Like with Coldplay, you can say yes, they've made some phenomenal albums, some all-timer great albums. Nickelback haven't done that.
What's your next band, Joe? What's your next band?
I've actually only got one more, and it's a very quick and easy one, and it's U2. Because
U2?
Hear me out.
Are you about to try and defend U2?
I'm saying that the only I've got one point on this. The only reason everyone still hates U2 to a crazy level is just because of that album that got put on everyone's phone.
Bono. That's why.
Yeah, but some of the tracks are nice, easy listening. They're not offensive. I don't really get... No, but I'm not, again, kind of similar to Nickelback. I'm not saying they're one of the greatest bands ever. They're amazing. The discography is fantastic.
I was.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that they're just there. Then there's no reason for anyone to hate U2 like passionately, and a lot of people do.
It's strange that you've included them on your list because they were something that I omitted from my list for the reason that I thought, you know what, they are hated a lot, but I can't defend them. I have nothing to say about U2.
Have I missed something that they've done that's actually really bad?
It's just bad music. It's just not very good.
Yeah, no, it's not amazing, but it's fine. There's no reason for anyone to hate them.
And also, Bono's fucking annoying as shit, and his voice is just not the one. I can't. This is the thing. This is why I didn't have them on my list. I agree that they are overhated, and perhaps they do get more hate than they deserve. But I can't defend them.
But but I could come back to you with exactly the point you just made about Nickelback. For a band that's so commercially successful.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But I like Nickelback. Do you like U2?
No, not really.
So why are they in your list?
Because I think that they're overhated still. I think that there's a few U2 tracks that are good, that are easy listening. They had a massive impact on music, and I genuinely think people just hate them. It became cool to hate them when their album got put on everyone's iPhone for free.
Yeah, that was very annoying.
Everyone went, fuck U2. Why is this on my phone?
They were hated prior to that though. Like The Simpsons have made jokes about them. Everybody's made jokes about them. South Park have made jokes about them. Something about them just hasn't resonated well with the world. I don't really know what it is. Reason why I omitted them from my list is because I don't know why they're hated so much, but I can't defend as to why they shouldn't be hated so much.
Fair enough. Who have you got, Tim?
I've got another one here. This is a little bit of a rogue one, a little bit left wing, and it is Owl City.
I've never heard anyone say anything either way about Owl City.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard anyone talk about them ever.
This is why I thought it was a bit of a rogue one. A lot of people just dislike him because they think Fireflies and all the songs sound the same, this, that, and the other. This is going to be one where I'm putting my hands up here. I'm an Owl City fan. I am an Owl City fan. I really enjoy his music. There's a lot of his albums that I really liked. His certain style, his vocals, how he kind of makes all the tracks himself. He builds up all the instruments. I think he's really good. If you've never heard the hate of him, then I guess we just move off it. But there is a lot of people that will say Owl City, what a load of shit. What an absolutely crap artist. And I just think it's unfair because he is an artist who makes all of his own music. And I know a lot of artists make their own music, but I mean, he is the guy that makes pretty much the entirety of the track. And when you've had so many bangers like with Carly Rae Jepsen and When Can I See You Again on Wreck-It Ralph and Fireflies and all these other tracks, he is a good artist, but people forget how good he is.
Oh, I never thought we'd bring up Wreck-It Ralph on this thing. But,
I'm going to wreck it.
Fireflies is a good track. That's all I can say about Owl City. I'm really sorry, mate. I don't know if you've got anyone else. I considered bringing up MGK, but to be honest, if you've watched previous episodes or videos, I've spoke about this a bunch of time, so I thought, what's the point? Everyone knows that MGK doesn't deserve the level of hate for his music. As a person, questionable.
No, he deserves it for his music as well. His music's terrible, bro.
No, it's not.
Okay, well, we're not. You didn't bring up MGK, so we're not going to argue MGK. Weezer. Why do people hate on Weezer? Don't understand it. I think it's because of the simplicity and the kind of nerd rock vibe that they bring. But I personally think they're a fantastic band. I really liked most of their releases. To be fair, their discography... Wait, hold out. Just stop. Their discography goes from peaks and troughs. It goes up and down as it goes through. There's a lot of good albums. There's a lot of not so good albums in there. I'm looking at you, Raditude and Black Album. Not the greatest. But there is one album in there that stands out the best for me, which is Everything Will Be Okay in the End. And that is their best album. That is their most under-listened to album, in my opinion.
My thing with Weezer, I think they have a couple of very good albums, and the rest would feel like a chore for me to listen to.
Due to...
I don't think that they're particularly I don't know. They're just not that unique in any way. When I listen to it, it feels like background, like elevator music. Other than those couple of albums that are really good, it's the Blue album, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And Pinkerton.
Yeah, and Pinkerton. Other than that, the rest of it just makes me go, oh, well,
I think
Weezer.
that is the main reason why they're overhated, is because a lot of people just kind of go,
But
well,
are they overhated though then? If they've had like 8 albums or however many they've released at this point and only 2 of them are actually worth listening to.
Oh, I'm saying that there's more that are worth listening to. It's just people like you just fucking dismiss them because you've only listened to the first 2 albums.
I haven't. We've reviewed other ones on here.
One other album
and it was
of their giant discography.
And it was bad.
Yes, I know, but you've not listened to Everything Will Be Okay in the end.
I've probably listened to moments of it. I've listened to tracks off other albums for sure. I have gone through Weezer's discography before and listened to a lot of the songs off other albums, and none of them have ever persuaded me to actually become a huge fan of them.
Are you a fan of them at all?
Yeah, I like.
All right, yeah.
When I go see them live,
yeah.
I enjoy it. I like a couple of, as I say, the first couple of not the first couple of albums. Those couple that are good are very good, but bar that, they're just mediocre in every way possible.
Mid is what a lot of people would class them as.
But I don't think that means they should be hated as such. But I kind of get it at the same time.
Well, Limp Bizkit. Do you think Limp Bizkit are overhated? I think they get a lot of hate for being in that new metal scene, for Fred Durst being who Fred Durst is. But again, I think this is a classic case of I don't like the vocalist, thus the band is bad.
I think Limp Bizkit have changed their trajectory on that point. Maybe they were overhated, but in the last couple of years, they've become cool.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
so they've kind of like Nickelback. Actually, Nickelback have gone from being massively hated to now people think they're quite cool
because people have realized, oh shit, no, actually the music was good. We were just all swept up in the hate. Same with Justin Bieber. It always happens where people eventually go, oh, there's a reason why this band was so successful. Oh, I get it now.
Well, I think the conclusion we've come to, Tim, is nobody can be hated because one day they might be loved unless it's someone that's done something actually horrible.
And also that most bands are hated because of their frontman. And I'm surprised there's not one band that you've included in there that I didn't include because I thought you would.
Who?
The 1975.
Oh, do you know what? I probably should have included them.
You definitely should have included them.
Now, we've had that debate as a full video, so go watch that if you haven't already and hit like and subscribe. But the 1975, to me, like, they are hated by a lot of people, but I just also think that they're one of the biggest bands in the world right now that are the most relevant and about to headline Glastonbury. So there's no reason.
They are the biggest band in the world.
But there's no reason for me to even defend them in this sense. Like, when I think of the 1975, I don't view them as hated because I've been to I've been to dozens of their concerts and seen everyone loving them. So I'm like, well, in my head, they're not hated, they're loved, and they should be because they're amazing.
Right, okay, let's leave it there. I'm not doing this debate again. We're not doing it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, we've got a plethora of videos on our channel. I used the word plethora there. Amazing. We've got reviews, we've got old albums, we've got new albums, we've got everything. Go check it out.
Like and subscribe. Peace.